Okay, so firstly, bear with me. Weird background. Not feeling too good. But I said I was gonna make this video, and so I am. My thoughts on the I think this is the most recent trailer of Robocop. And being a huge fan of Robocop 1 and 2, I'm excited. Now, apparently, me being a part of the younger generation and being super optimistic, I am really hyped for this. But I love the first. I cannot reiterate enough. I love the first and second movies. I didn't watch the third one because I heard it was shit. And apparently there was another one. I didn't hear about it. Whatever. Um, and people were talking about this like it's the end of the world. The This RoboCop sucks because black suit, because he's more Army Reserve tactical modernized RoboCop. Are you fucking serious? You're gonna bitch about modernization? A a character that was always about a futuristic robot in like the 20th century, okay, with blue plastic armor, no emotion, barely any reason for why he changed from just machine to machine with a conscience. And that was enough for me to enjoy the movies, was that he at least had a conscience. But at the same time, he wasn't emotional. There was almost no emotional depth within the movies. There was barely any connection to the main character, but that was fine because of the supporting cast, because of him and what other people in the movie were doing, what Robocop had to do, and he got the job done. And as a Robocop, that made sense. In the first movie, he, he becomes the Robocop after being shot to bits, and they somehow resurrect him. And then he gains the conscience from his wife, his grieving wife, um, who basically tells him who he is, and he develops a sort of system that to believe it, not to just be another cog in the system, another cog in the machine, and that was awesome. And so he gets, I think he gets what, revenge on the mobsters and everything, which is awesome. And the second movie is about a fictional drug war, and RoboCop has to go up against other RoboCop type thing. And it was cheesy, and I love the shit out of it. Some people absolutely hate the second movie, which is why I'm so confused why everyone is pissed off at this new iteration of RoboCop for trying to bring out emotional depth, and it's still cheesy. I don't see the big issue here. Um, the thing I hear that people complain about, which is not even a valid complaint, it's why did RoboCop die in a car explosion? He should have died by being shot 100 times like in the original. Are you serious? Even if this were a reboot like Superman Returns or something, where it's basically just a remake of the original, the first movie, or second movie or whatever, why would you want to see that again? Why would you want that type of retread? People didn't even care that much for Superman Returns. Why would you care about RoboCop if it were just the same old shit again? Explain this. And again, in that same context, you could still have the original movie. And in this case, it's the same thing. You can get RoboCop on Blu-ray, which I heard wasn't a very good Blu-ray, the way it was made. I think it's on DVD. You can still get it on VHS. You can get it anywhere, on anything. You can still have RoboCop 1 and 2. Enjoy them. I know I will. So that's one thing. It's like, car explosion's bad. Being shot to a million pieces is totally fine. Okay then. And then the other thing is evil corporation thing. Again, in the second movie. And it was even in the first movie. Briefly. Where the scientists and the people that run the pharmaceutical company that turned Murphy into the Robocop were kind of assholes, and they were selfish, and they just wanted him as a science project, basically. And it's the same here. They're using him as a symbol of the American justice system, so they can get, people to rally behind them, and to, basically have the ultimate cop, but also the ultimate weapon, by taking away the new Murphy's humanity. I assume his name's still Murphy. I'm only assuming. And that's totally fine with me. And the fact that they're actually trying to push the angle that he has a wife and a kid, and he gets pretty much nearly killed, and he becomes this symbol, but he doesn't retain the humanity at first. And they are showing that. They're kind of spoiling the shit out of this movie already. And they've only shown like 4 trailers. Like, they're really trying to get the old fans, and they're not. I'm sorry. I consider myself an old fan, but I'm 22, okay? I wasn't around when these movies came out, but I enjoy the shit out of them anyway. I'm looking forward to this. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. They are obviously way too biased and way too ignorant to just enjoy something for just because it's different. Because it decided to take a semi-realistic approach. I think what they're trying to push now is the Samuel Jackson factor, because I'm sure that especially is going to bring in some more of a fan base, because Samuel Jackson has his own huge fan base right now. Actually, he's probably had one since like Training Day, but I mean, how many people I saw an angry video game nerd pissed that didn't like Deep Blue Sea because Samuel Jackson got killed off, which was probably my favorite part of the movie. And I'm not really a fan of Samuel Jackson. I just not. I don't care. I didn't like him as Black Nick Fury. I never cared about Black Nick Fury. I don't care about the Ultimate Marvel Universe. I hardly do. Which is why I don't really care about the Marvel thing going on right now. Well, I like Marvel and DC. For Marvel, I always like Spider-Man, but the movie sucked ass. Even Amazing Spider-Man, it was better than the first 3 movies, but that's not saying a lot. It's still not as good as the 90s cartoon, which, yeah, it had a lot of dumb shit, and, and then you have freaking Blade. You have the Blade movies. Like, holy crap, but, yeah, but Robocop, let's get back to that. The other thing is, I haven't seen, the thing I've heard complaints about is, like, the black suit, which, some people argue whether or not it's going to be temporary because we see him in the blue suit in several other trailers. I don't know yet. They keep showing it off, which is fine with me. They've also shown off, him gaining his humanity back, and him trying to be with his son and get to know his son as the Robocop. Be not only the symbol, but also be a father. Albeit one that's always going to be away from home, like a realistic cop. Hey, what do you know? Yeah, and then his wife, they're now showing his wife looking over the decision on whether to sign the paper to turn him into a robotic commando after he's basically been burned to death, lost an arm and a leg, and probably on life support. And she probably can't afford it anyways, so to pay for medical expenses just to have him be an amputee. So I assume they're paying her a certain amount to have him do this project and to become the robotic commando that he will be, Robocop. and that'll be all. This will all be very interesting. I'm excited and optimistic on how this will be. Now, it could totally suck ass. It could be Amazing Spider-Man. So much promised and little payoff. It could be Spider-Man 3. The end of a, well, it's not really a trilogy, but it's like, all this stuff is shown, that people wanted. A sort of new vision, a new version. In Spider-Man 3, it was Venom, and I was excited for Venom. I loved Venom and the original Spider-Man series. I loved him in Spectacular Spider-Man. And Spider-Man 3 was just so lackluster. They barely explained his backstory, and he wasn't that threatening, and all he did was do what every other villain did in the Spider-Man movies, kidnap Mary Jane, when in the Spider-Man shows, and I'm sure in the comics, that isn't the main thing, is Mary Jane gets kidnapped. No. There's more that you can take from Spider-Man than his damn girlfriend. You can take away citizens in New York, and you can do a lot of things, and I think they're going to show that in this movie. They will show why Robocop is Robocop in this, and I'm looking forward to that. If you haven't seen the first and second movies, please do, especially if you're like over 15, and you're used to like action movies, and if you've seen like Die Hard 4, which wasn't that great, or if you've seen like the Bourne movies, definitely check out the first few Robocop movies, 1 and 2. The first one, again, kind of, you have to be in a mood for. I still haven't seen it in a couple of years, and I have the Blu-ray. I just got it. I heard it wasn't, again, a good transition from DVD to Blu-ray. There's certain ways of porting things to DVD and Blu-ray, and apparently they probably didn't do a very good job. So that's why I've been hesitant to watch it on Blu-ray. But definitely check out that one. It's a classic. It's a classic action movie. It really is. Very simple premise. Again, cheesy, kind of weak writing, but again, late 80s or mid 80s. And then Robocop 2, very cheesy. Robocop does get destroyed early on, and then they rebuild him. And I think actually in the second movie he does get even more morality and reasons for his actions than in the first, but only slightly. Again, that's why I don't see, and I can't agree with the older Robocop fan base when they say Robocop should stay as it is, because you can do so much more with the Robocop franchise. I mean, I don't see why people are saying this movie will fail. It won't. Even the shittiest reboots get tons of money. And even if they aren't liked, they'll either stay as a cult classic, or they will become a trilogy again, or just an anthology series, or a movie and a show. You never know. And yeah, I'm probably just wasting your time now. That's been my thoughts. Tell me yours in the comments, whether you hate the idea of just Robocop returning because you're stuck in the 80s, or you are optimistic as I am, or somewhere in the middle. Just tell me in the comments below. I hope you like this video, and have a great morning or afternoon or night.